Hello everybody, it's Maikito. First, before I get into the video, I want to thank every single one of you guys that were wishing me a happy birthday in the YouTube comments, on the Discord as well. I read everything. I really do appreciate it. And I know I originally planned and said I wasn't going to make a video, but I had some free time before I had plans in the afternoon, and I actually found enough that I liked. So whether it's my birthday or not, I'm still trying to be consistent, still trying to post. Do not anticipate any added plays. I feel like I found plenty. I have 2 player prop plays and 2 money line plays. So this is what I'm going to have for Sunday slate. Hopefully we do good. But other than that, I'll get straight into the plays. Any of the pages that you see on the screen is from the data app called Outlier, which I am sponsored with. You get a 7-day free trial with my link that is linked in the description if you want to try that out. Thank you, Outlier, for that. But again, I'll get into the plays. The first player prop that I have that I like is Jean-Philippe Mateta to go higher than 2.5 shots at home for Palace, going up against Forest. I don't anticipate this getting bumped up to 3, but if it does, instead I would take his teammate Ismail Assar, who currently is at 2.0, but I'm taking him. He averaged 2.37 shots per 90 last season, and he's a versatile player. He took 39 shots with his right, 21 with his left, and 10 headers last season. He's 6'4", and he wins 59% of his aerial duels, so he's a top player, hence why he's able to get those headers. Forest last season allowed the 6th most shots to opponents on average at 14.2, which is a good matchup, and Palace were able to take 20 shots in each of those games, so he will get the chances. And they're playing a team that also don't play possession. Both Palace and Forest usually don't play possession, but when they play each other, they each get more, which means more shot opportunities for Mateta. And with Eze now gone, who has moved on to Arsenal, their offense is going to have to come from elsewhere, and Mateta means more shooting opportunities for him. He was able to play 4 games without him last season, and he went over in 3 out of 4 games without him, averaging 4 shots. And if you look at the screen, he had 1 miss. He went right under with 2 against Aston Villa, but in that game, they only had 30% possession, and like I said, with a team against Forest, I expect them to get at least 40 to 45%. He was able to take 1 shot from outside the box in each of those games, so he will take them if given the chance. And with a good matchup and Eze now gone at 2.5, I like this line. Jean-Philippe Mateta to go higher than 2.5 shots. And then the second player prop that I found that I like is Nico Paz to go higher than 2.5 shots at home for Como, going up against Lazio. He is a shooter. He averaged 3.68 shots per 90 last season. He's versatile. He's left-footed, so he took 80 shots with his left, but he was also able to take 15 with his right and 15 headers. And he is a long shot taker. Most of his shots, over half of his shots, come from outside the box. 57 from outside, 53 from inside the box, and he is also their set piece taker. Lazio actually had the most yellow cards last season and the 2nd most red cards, so they do foul in dangerous places, which means opportunities for him to take those free kicks, take those penalties, and he played them twice last season, went over in both of those games with 4 shots and 3 shots, despite Lazio on average conceding the 3rd least shots. So regardless, he was still able to go over against him. So I'm not really worried about the matchup because he is a shooter. Besides, Lazio are without 4 defensive players, which I'll get into in a money line play due to suspension or injury. So they're already pretty thin when it comes to defense. Plus, he's playing at home where his average goes up. He went over in 73% of home games. 11 out of 15 games at home he went over, and he averaged 4 shots in those games. With 2.5, I like the line at home. Good history against them, so I like Nico Paz to go higher than 2.5 shots. Before I get into my moneyline play, as always, I would really appreciate it if everybody liked the video and comment as well. It just takes a second. It's a great way to support the channel and boost the video out to everybody. I don't hide any picks, so why not give these free picks to as much people as possible? And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, turn on notifications so you're notified when these videos are out. And I do also let y'all know in my Discord, which is not a premium, completely free to join, which is also linked in the description. Not only do I let y'all know when videos go public there as well, but it's a great community where people post their own plays. You can put your plays, get input, talk during the games, not just in soccer, but everything, whether it's NFL, MLB, NBA, all that when it starts up. Again, if you're interested in that, completely free, link in the description. I mentioned Outliers there as well, so I really want to thank anybody and everybody who supports me in any way. I have 2 money line plays. This is my first one. You can currently get this for -180, and it's Nottingham Forest to win or draw away from home going up against Palace. I know I took Mateta, which is a Palace player, to go over on shots, but I still like Nottingham Forest better because of Eze being now gone and going to Arsenal. He was their best player on offense, in my opinion, by far. Most people would agree. He had 16 goals and assists in the Prem last season, and that made up for 31% of Palace's goals last season overall. Now completely gone. And Nottingham Forest were able to not lose against Palace in both games last season, with a 1-1 draw away and a 1-0 win at home. And so Palace already failed to score in one of the games, and in the game that they did manage to score was from a penalty that came from Eze. So that just shows Nottingham Forest's defensive strength in general, and they won the first game at home 3-1, and the only way they conceded was due to a penalty. So I don't expect them to concede again, but it just shows that in regular play, Nottingham Forest is strong defensively. And in 4 games without Eze last season, Crystal Palace were winless in all 4. They did not win a single game with him out of the squad. And both teams normally like possession, which I mentioned before. But now, when they play against each other, they get close to 50-50%. So that means Nottingham Forest will get more shot opportunities as usual. They had a similar situation in the first game when they won 3-1, which was against Brentford, playing another team that doesn't hold possession. They held more possession, had more shot opportunities, and were able to score. And Palace is likely to struggle in the attack against a strong defense, and now struggling more without Eze. Besides, Forest were able to score in 84% of away games, 16 out of 19 games. So I expect them to at least be able to keep up with Palace. I can see them winning, but we're taking them to win or draw just to be safe. So I like this play for -180. And then the second play that I have, I got this play for -125. And the first play is in La Liga in Spain. It's Real Madrid to score at least 2 going up against Real Oviedo. They struggled in the first game, scraping a 1-0 win, which is only due to a penalty, but I don't see this form continuing. Now they're playing a newly promoted side that conceded on average 1 goal a game in the second division in Spain. Now they're in a better league, playing a much better offense, and they lost 2-0 in the first game to Villarreal and gave them 68% possession, gave them 25 shots and 10 shots on target. So if Real Madrid can get the same, if not more, they can easily capitalize and get at least 2 of those goals. And with players like Mbappe, Vinicius, Arda Güler, Trent, Valverde, all these great players, I feel like they struggled in that first game because they're still adjusting to Xabi Alonso's tactics. But even then, in the first game where they struggled, they still had 71% of the ball, had 18 shots and 5 shots on target. I expect them to be able to take those opportunities in this game. So I like Real Madrid to go higher than 1.5 goals against Real Oviedo. And the second one is in the Serie A in Italy, and that's Como to score at home going up against Lazio. The only loss in attack that Como had to their team and their offense was Trefasa, but they brought in some decent players in Baturina. They brought in Rodriguez from Real Betis, Morata, who's great. I don't anticipate him starting, but he still can come off the bench. Adai, and they scored in both games against them last season, so they have good history against them, and they were able to take 17 shots and 14 shots. And I mentioned before that Lazio on average conceded the 3rd least shots, but that didn't seem to affect Como here. Besides, Lazio conceded 23 goals in 19 away games last season, so they conceded on average 1.21. We just need them to concede 1. And I mentioned that they will be without 4 defensive players, which are Romagnoli, who I believe is their captain on defense. He will be out due to suspension. Patrick, Gigot, and Vecino are all going to be out due to injury, so their defense is already going to be spread thin. And just without Vecino, who was injured for a big part of the season last season as well, he's a good defensive anchor in the midfield. Without him there, Lazio conceded in 83% of games, 15 out of 19 games, I believe, or 15 out of 18 games that they didn't have them. They conceded a goal. So, and Como at home were able to score in 89% of home games, 17 out of 19 games. They had a good first game in the cup, winning 3-1. Good history against them. Lazio's defense is spread thin. I expect them to score in the first game of the season at home. So I have this split for -125. Como to score 1 and Real Madrid to score 2. Thank you everybody for watching. Quickly going over last video's picks. Player prop wise, we had 3. I had the 1, which was Osaka, and 2 other plays. One of them did DMP, so we really had 2. Saka under 3.5. He hit. He only had 1 shot. And then I have an added play, which was Rafinha to take 4. As I'm recording this, it is halftime, and he's taking 2, and they're down. So hopefully he will be more aggressive in the second half. So if he hits that, we would have swept the player props. But it was the opposite when it came to money line. AC Milan only scored 1, and the Roma and Bologna game only had 1 goal. And then in the other one, which would have been day 2, Aston Villa lost their game against Brentford. We had Celta Vigo to score against Mallorca. They came through, but Aston Villa was just not able to score against Brentford. So that was unfortunate. hopefully we can turn it around here in the Sunday slip. If Rafinha hits, we would have swept the player props, and hopefully we can continue that momentum. But when it comes to teams, again, since it's the beginning of the season, so it's been a little bit hard to predict. But as the games go on, we'll know how they play. We'll know who plays where. We'll know matchups and stuff like that. So you could in the beginning of the season, you can play lighter, give it some time. But I'm still confident in all my plays. Again, thank you to everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I will be celebrating that with friends and family tonight. So again, I don't anticipate any added plays. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.